there's no amount of selling that could make me care about Big Show versus Lesnar, especially when it's so transparent, because it feels like they're trying to sell me something, and there's nothing inherent about it. Like, they're kind of doing the same thing with Taker versus Lesnar, but that actually is a valuable match that people want to see in itself. This is like, okay, we booked Big Show versus Lesnar, now we gotta sell it. So send Heyman out there, and do this ad hoc thing where you booked it, now you gotta sell it. Whereas I think it should be the other way around. Like, we should be asking to see a match based on them selling the idea to us.
Why didn't they do that, you know? Like, why didn't they have a poll? Like, who would you like to see Brock Lesnar face next?
Well, because I don't think they want the answer to that. Because
I think the situation is they don't want you to pick anybody that I guess they don't want to get over.
And the funny part is, like, Lesnar would still go over whomever that choice would end up being, too. That's the funny part about that. Like, they could just squash whoever it is, and it wouldn't make them look any better. But, whatever. You know, this as a match, if the year was, like, '02 or something, maybe I would feel differently about this. If the year was '08, I'd probably feel a lot different about this. But it's 2015, and I don't have any reason to care about Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. And honestly, what they've done to try to sell it, if we're just going to be completely, you know, unbiased for a second and just say, okay, this is what they've done to try to sell this, they have failed really badly, because the most convincing piece to Big Show in these last couple of weeks has been the fact that he's cut a couple of promos. Not the fact that he's gone out there and had some big matches or gotten big wins. He's defeated Cesaro, who's already on a losing streak anyway, and yet still outshined Big Show in the match with his vertical suplex from the outside of the ring into the inside. That was the biggest highlight of that match, even if he did lose. And then this week, having him beat Mark Henry and squash a guy who's been a jobber for the last 2 years. Like, if Mark Henry was fresh off the Hall of Pain push that he got in 2011 and like had just lost the world title and then got squashed by Big Show in 2 minutes, I would say that would feel like a kind of a big victory for Big Show. But Mark Henry has been a complete jobber for the last couple of years, and he's been very off and on, even appearing on TV. He's had a really, like, part-time role, pretty much. So why would I think, oh my god, look at how legit Big Show looks? Let's not forget that, what was it, last pay-per-view that he just lost in a triple threat IC title match at the pay-per-view before, whatever, SummerSlam? You know, he just lost to Ryback and Miz, or not Ryback and Miz, but just Ryback, in a triple threat match for the IC title, and what was one of the most irrelevant and boring feuds ever. So, as you all know, I can't stand that feud. So, again, it's like, I don't think Big Show versus Lesnar on paper sounds that bad, but with the place and time that it is in, that we are in, it's not a good idea. It's probably one of the worst ideas. Give this spot to somebody else. It reminds me of, like, when he squashed, who was it, Kofi, a couple of months ago. I like that better. I'd much rather see him squash Kofi Kingston again.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, because there was no illusion as to what was going to happen, or they weren't trying to convince us of anything. Like Steven was talking about earlier, like, shit, you would have been better off booking this as a squash match and selling it as come watch Brock shit out of insert name here than attempting to convince me that Big Show has anything resembling a chance or is anything resembling a threat to Brock Lesnar.
Also, another thing is this match happened like last year or last year and a half. It happened, and it was a squash match. Does anyone remember that?
Yes,
like,
he destroyed him at Royal Rumble. Yep.
Was it even a match? I don't remember. Like,
I don't even think it started. I think he just hit him with a chair like 8 times, and then F5'd him or whatever.
Yeah,
Big Show got fucked up. That's the point.
Yeah,
that's
so
what happened. He got fucked up.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, but Evan, what you said was interesting. Yeah, Big Show's promo is pretty good. For like a second when he's talking, I almost take him like seriously again. And Big Show is always like someone where I feel like he has this hidden potential, because there's something awesome about the Big Show. No matter how stupid he gets, he is a freaking giant. And
I remember the matches he had with Sheamus a few years ago for the world title. Those were some really good matches. Like, he's honestly gotten better as far as like being able to tell a solid story in his matches over the years. It's like when he wins, it's not a bad thing. I still like Big Show too. You know, but for a 7 foot tall, 500-pound guy, or 440 now, he's cut down.
Slimming
for a
down.
guy, yeah, he's slimming down just a bit. But for a guy that big for his biggest selling point to be promos is a little bit scary, considering the fact that he's facing the same guy who ended Undertaker's streak, who is being billed as, like, you know, destroyed Cena last year at SummerSlam, held the belt for a long time last year, and is basically being booked as the god of wrestlers right now because he's so damn, you know, strong looking. So for a guy like Big Show's biggest selling point to be his microphone skills, you know, and for him to say, I'm a damn giant, I believe him a lot more when he says that than anything he does in the ring, and that's really not good for a guy who's supposed to be about impact playing, which is what a big character like Big Show, that's how those guys are always booked, is about the impact they can make in the ring, you know? I mean, I'm not saying they can't have mic skills, but, you know, the in-ring stuff is what matters the most for those guys.
What a sad state of affairs it is to say that the most threatening thing a 7-foot-tall guy can do is talk. That's sad.
Yeah. I'm a damn giant, Jay. Don't you believe me?
Yes, keep telling me. If you keep telling me, I'm going to believe you. Shit, because I don't see any other indication. And you know, I talked about earlier with Cesaro and Big Show. Like, the reason why I was looking up Big Show's match history is because I was curious to see just what he's been doing in WWE. And the truth of the matter is, when you're counting Raw and SmackDown, Big Show has won a total of 5 matches since he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
What?
Won 5 matches by pinfall.
That's really surprising to me.
And you want to know what's even crazier? 3 of those matches have came within the last 2 weeks.
Oh, what a coincidence!
That's crazy,
what a coincidence! I wonder what happened with the Big Show in that time. But here's the thing: like with Paul Heyman, WWE put him in a very terrible position, and he made the best of it that he possibly could. But they basically gave him a pile of bullshit, a pile of fuckery, and told him to make a 5-course meal out of it. And he did as best as anyone could have possibly done. Anyone on the face of this damn planet. And what I appreciate about what he did is he tried his best not to treat us like fools in the way that WWE did, because mentioning to you guys that Big Show has only won 5 matches by pinfall over these last, 6 months, that's something WWE didn't care about, because there was no gradation from one point to the next. There was no evolution or anything like that. We go from Big Show being a guy who can't even win the fucking Intercontinental Championship, having trouble in matches with Ryback and the likes of The Miz, to him all of a sudden being dominant. And WWE didn't do anything to explain to us how did he get from one point to the next, because they want us to look at Big Show and say, well, shit, he's 7 feet tall, he's a giant, of course he can do what he did to Cesaro, of course he can do what he did to Mark Henry. Okay, well, why the fuck didn't he do that to Ryback? Why didn't he do it to The Miz? Like, I hate to let you guys know this, but it's scripted. It's scripted. You know, if you have a 7-foot-tall guy, you have to do things to a point where that size matters. You know, size has to matter. But it doesn't. It really doesn't. And I'm glad that Paul Heyman is there, because at the very least he attempted to add some continuity and give an explanation to say that, okay, well, he wasn't at his best in these matches because he doesn't feel challenged. But he's stepping things up when he sees Brock Lesnar. I don't buy the bullshit, but I still appreciate the effort.
That promo ended weird, too. It ended with Big Show threatening Heyman and then Heyman just walking away silently. And I find that really strange. I was like, okay, is Lesnar going to come out? Like, what's going to happen? And then he just walked away. It's like, okay.
Like, Big Show just KOs Lesnar on Saturday and beats him in 30 seconds, and we're all like, what? What in the world?
Like, don't get it twisted. If anybody from the WWE creative team is watching right now, like, we're not saying that he has to beat Brock Lesnar. Like,
absolutely not.
No
way in hell.
Here's what I want to see. I want to see Cesaro take out Big Show in the beginning of the show and then take his spot against Lesnar. How about that?
That would be fantastic. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, God. It has to happen now.
It would be nice. So that same creative guy who's watching should do that, not the Big Show squashing. I was joking, man, okay? They're like, ooh, a joke? We can throw that on the show. We love jokes and non-serious storylines that are the main events of shows. Yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman definitely deserves some credit. He made an ice cream sundae out of a shit sandwich. So, I mean, I give him credit for that, no question. He does his best. He really does. And he again, excels on the microphone. But it's like you can't sell something that's just at this point in time. They're the myth of, I guess you could say a myth, but the storytelling element for a big guy to lose to a little guy, I don't feel like that's really a big thing anymore. Like, at least with Big Show. I mean, maybe not in general, but at least with like a Big Show. Like, for Big Show to lose to someone half his size isn't surprising anymore. You don't say, oh my god, Big Show lost to a guy half his size. Wow, that's weird. Whereas, I feel like things used to be built so that when you beat a big guy like that, it was a big moment for someone's career. But now it's not a big moment for anyone's career to beat Big Show. So many people have done that. It's been used so many times now. And that goes across the board, I think, too. So that's why I'm saying I don't think the novelty of beating a big guy is really there like it used to be. It just isn't. And that comes with all the different big guys that they've made to look like jokes or made to look, stupid. I mean, you even look at like Tensai and that whole character and where that turned out. Brodus Clay, another type of guy who could have been a monster heel and instead is the Funkasaurus. I mean, you got all these big guys over the course of time who didn't even get to have any dominance. Mark Henry, Big Show, the list goes on, and that's why everyone's like, yeah, Braun Strowman's next. I mean, Look, we're at a point where the expectation level is to see a big guy end up becoming a joke. And that's crazy to me because it used to be a big deal for smaller guys to beat the big guy. Like, I know that Hogan's the forbidden name, but Hogan, or the Invisible Man as his alter ego now is known, defeating Andre the Giant would never have been that big of a deal if we were at this point in time. Like, it's almost like how Cesaro slammed Big Show over the top rope at the Andre Battle Royal. Like, that was a cool moment and all, but I bet it would have had a much bigger impact if big guys were still booked the way they used to be. Not necessarily full-time guys, but guys who can come in and kick anybody's ass at any time. But these guys aren't booked that way. They're trying to tell you that story. They're trying to put the curtain over your eyes and say, this is what can happen with this big guy, like the Cesaro match or the Mark Henry match the Big Show was just in. But yeah, 2 weeks before that, he loses to Miz and Ryback, guys who are even smaller than the guys he just beat. So it's like it's a facade,
Have you guys read 1984?
I have, in high school.
Jay, what did you say?
I haven't read it.
You haven't read it? Man, you gotta go read it. That book is amazing. But in 1984, the whole premise is Big Brother's in charge, and basically it's this huge totalitarian dictatorship. And what they do is they change history at the drop of a hat, and everyone is so propagandized that it works too. It's like one day Oceania is at war with East Asia. The next day Oceania is allies with East Asia. They've always been allies with East Asia. That's how I feel like when I'm watching WWE sometimes. It's like Big Show is a giant. He's always been a giant. Next day Big Show, he could be beat. Next day Big Show is a giant. He's always been a giant. What are you talking about? It's like I feel like they're trying to convince me that 2 + 2 = 5 once in a while, and I feel it's very insulting and it's very perplexing. And it's just this huge fog of unreality. Like this is what I mentioned, I think, at one point, is like there's no logic to this universe. There's no consistency. This is like the WWE universe is a universe without laws of physics. It's just like things just happen. There's no logic involved at all.